This class is concerned with website usability. It's been long appreciated by web designers and by commercial concerns that the quality of the website is very important as a means of attracting and retaining customers. The website is the shop window, the virtual shop window on the business. So having a good website is very important. Let's look at some of the issues associated with website usability. First of all, let's look at the background to this topic. For a start, users are becoming more discerning. Users are demanding more from the website. They have a shopping list, if you like, of certain attributes that the website should have to enable them to easily and efficiently and, in a sense, entertainingly find the information that they're looking for. Poorly designed sites lose visitors and may be related to uncertainty and ambiguity caused by a lack of interaction with the website. So as the technology has developed, website users expect more. They expect easier navigation. They expect a pleasant experience. They expect to be able to find their way around both easily and with some degree of interest and almost, as I said earlier, entertainment. The number of shoppers and total sales may be small because of poor interfaces. So companies have to be aware that a badly designed website will lose custom. If customers access the website of a business and can't navigate it very easily, or they don't find the experience very pleasant, they will leave the site. And if they leave the site, the company is losing a potential customer. So it's very important for the business to be aware of the importance of a well-designed website. Now, building a usable website is important for various reasons. It develops the online customer base. If it's a good site, customers may come back to it. They may bookmark the site on their browser and return to the site at a later stage and keep an eye on the site just in case there are promotions or new products being introduced. Customers will be interested in the site because it's well designed and well structured, well laid out. It's laid out with the user in mind, not with the business in mind, with the user in mind. The site should facilitate search. It should be easy to find what they want. There should be a search window which enables them to type in straightforward English, type in what they require, and the search facilities of the site are sophisticated enough to interpret the keywords in what they've typed and bring back relevant search results, so that the customers are not frustrated by the search facilities of the site. And a good site should enable communications between the vendor and the customer, so that the customer is able to provide comment to the vendor. The customer is able to provide feedback, in other words, feedback about the quality of the products, the issues of delivery, pricing, design, whatever it is. There is a communications channel that should be opened through the website, and customers and potential customers of the website should find it easy to use that communications channel. And many websites may provide a store themselves. There may be the presence of a store-like facility, an e-shop, where customers can purchase the products, put it into a basket, pay for it using an online payment facility and get delivery. So it's very similar to going to the shops, except if the customer is living in an isolated location, it's more convenient. Or if the customer has a disability, or the customer uh, finds it difficult to get out because poor weather conditions or whatever it is, the customers may be able to purchase the product online. Now, usable websites, well, they build a positive attitude towards the business. If the site is well designed, customers think the company has the customer in mind. The website is designed around the customer and the customer's requirements for their online experience. But it also rubs off in the sense that it suggests that the company has got the customer in mind. The customer is foremost in the mind of the business. The business is looking to the customer requirements and aiming to facilitate what the customers want. There's increased stickiness. Stickiness means when customers go onto a good site, they stay there. They bookmark it. They spend time on the site. They don't just click on it, look at it and think, this is not nice, or I don't like I don't like the design, click out of it. So the web design is such that when customers access the website, they stick. They want to stay there. They want to look at all of the different parts of the website and click on the various links and see what happens, and they're interested. That's stickiness. And stickiness increases the revisit rates. As I said, they may bookmark the site and return to the site over and over again. Well, the more they return to it, the more likely they are to make purchases. And making online purchases will facilitate the attractiveness of the site. The customers don't have to leave their homes. They simply place an order and the product is delivered. And they have confidence in the product as well, because if the company has paid attention to the website and has delivered a good website, a website that's attractive to the customer, if the company has done that, the chances are they're going to be particular about the product, about delivery, about the terms of the purchase. It sounds like a company that can be trusted. They've got a good website, they're careful. So it builds up confidence in the mind of the customer. The company will tend to have performance linked to the website in the sense that if they have delivered a good website, then the customer thinks they will have good performance. They're trustworthy, they will deliver on time, they honor their commitments. It's part and parcel of the whole experience. And of course the customers have more satisfaction as a consequence of dealing with that company. And as I said earlier, they will bookmark it and return to it over and over again, and they like dealing with the company. So the customers have more satisfaction. So good websites have many positive attributes which help the business to deal with the customers commercially. Now, some definitions. Well, HCI means human-computer interface, and we refer to HCI from time to time. The human-computer interface is what the customer deals with. The customer sits in front of his or her laptop or his or her tablet or desktop computer, whatever it is. There is a human and there is a computer, and there is an interaction between them. The human will type in certain instructions or will point the cursor at certain links and will open it, and it's the sense of enjoyment, the sense of ease with which the human finds that whole exercise, that is a measure of the satisfaction they get from dealing with computers and websites. So HCI involves the study, the planning, the design of interfaces between users and computers. The interface is what appears on the screen. That's the link between the human and the business. It's the website. It's the design of the website. It's the interface. It's how the human deals with the business. A good HCI approach deals with different study areas. There's separate areas in computer studies, for example, or in the behavioral sciences. It might be in psychology. There could be in many areas of design and so on. So HCI is not a single topic. It draws from a wide area of academic development and of understanding that we have of what humans, what we want in terms of outcomes when we use computers. Now, there are some previous studies. Well, measurement problems, for example, of website usability. There's no consensus on the definition and dimensions of website usability. There's no hard and fast rules here. We don't measure usability with an index and say, well, if it's 42, then it's a bad site, or if it's 91, it's a good site. We don't measure it in this way. There are no particular measures. It is really what hits the user. If the user likes it or doesn't like it, it's assessed subjectively. It's assessed in the mind of the user. Is it a good site or is it not a good site? There are a number of single item constructs. We do know that easy navigation is a good point, or easy search facilities is a good point. Dealing with the company should be made easy. There should be confidence in the company arising out of the design of the website itself. If the company has taken particular attention in the design of the website, it means the chances are it's a careful company. It's a company who has got the interest of the customer in mind, and it's one that the customer can have confidence in dealing with. Intuition and experience based. Well, few efforts to develop measurement using scientific methods. Some people have tried to measure usability, and they may draw on different techniques. For example, it may be that we can conceive of an experiment where some people are asked to access a particular site and then rate the site using an attitudinal scale, using the Likert scale, for example, in attitudinal measurement. So they could say, well, do you like the colors of the site? 1, you don't like it at all, and 5, you like it very much. So how do you rate it between 1 and 5? You can imagine that sort of approach being used to try and assess the popularity or the perceptions related to particular websites. The human-computer interface orientated objective variables. Well, it could be people are looking at error rates. Perhaps they click on a link that doesn't work, or they click on a link that goes to the wrong place. That's an error. Or it could be the download times. Sometimes web designers like to put in a big graphic on the home page. Well, if the user has got a slow internet connection, they don't want to sit around waiting for a big graphic to appear. They may be more interested in simply getting into the site, seeing what the site has to offer, see if they're interested in the products or in the company that offers the products or whatever. They don't necessarily want to sit around waiting for a long time, waiting for a big graphic to appear. So that may not be something that interests them very much. Now, usability in terms of, let's say, content. Well, the content of a website should be efficiently ordered and logically set out. It should not be haphazard or just simply thrown together. It should be logically organized so that the user can reasonably expect certain items to appear in certain places and they can navigate around the site easily. So it should be made easy for the users. The links should not be obscure. The links should be obvious. And what the links do should be obvious. It's not good that a user clicks on a link expecting to go somewhere, and perhaps they do go there, but it's not what they overall expected. They have to click back to get back to where they were. So make navigation forwards and backwards easy. So it's easy to use. It's a straightforward experience. The site can be used to promote the business. The site can be used to promote itself by making it easy to bookmark the site, making it easy to send the link for the site to friends and to colleagues, wrapping it up in an email and opening the email editor and enabling the person to send on details of the site to friends with the suggestion that they'll look at the site as well. It's a good way of promoting the site. And the site should be able to harness the power of the internet, the current state of the internet. If the internet has got particular facilities, then the site should be able to harness this, should be able to use it. For example, over the last couple of years, sites have become what's known as responsive. In other words, they fit any size screen. They may be opened on a smartphone, or opened on a tablet, or opened on a large screen associated with a desktop computer. And the site will fit the size of the screen automatically. It's made for the medium. The programmers, the people who did the coding for the site, enabled this to happen so that it's easy for the users to access the site, whatever device they're using. The emotion associated with using the site should be positive. It should not cause frustration. The user should not be annoyed by the site. The user should find it easy and pleasurable to use the site. The links do what the links say. It's easy to navigate forwards and backwards, as I said earlier. The graphics are pleasant and well structured and set out. The site loads efficiently and fast. It's the emotion that the user has is that this site has been properly designed with them in mind. Now, usability in terms of download delay, well, that is a big issue. If the downloads are taking a long time, people get annoyed and frustrated and they don't want to wait. They don't want to wait for a long time. So if the server is slow or if the connection is slow and the designer of the site has not factored this in, the designer of the site has put in, as I said earlier, perhaps some big graphics or has embedded video which is going to take a long time to buffer and to stream, it's going to cause frustration on the part of the user, and they don't want any part of that. Navigability is important. they should be able, as I said many times before, they should be able to move from one part of the site to a different part of the site and get back, or know exactly where in the site they are, so they're able to move from one window to the next, and they're easily able to find their way around the site. That's very important. And the information content should be set out logically and organized, so it's efficient for the reader to find the information that they want, be able to read it. It's legible, it's clear, it's good grammar, there's no spelling mistakes, it's set out in nice paragraphs. It's a pleasure to deal with the information. The information may be in terms of video, in which case the download speeds, as I said just a few moments ago, the download speeds are taken into account, and the user can get the information fast and efficiently. It could be the information content is in terms of pictures, images, in which case they should be scaled so that they arrive fast. And there should be interactivity on the site. Users should be able to interact with the site. They should be able to give feedback on the site. They should be able to query the site, question the site. There may be a member of staff from the business who is available for discussion on particular topics. And if they've got a particular question that doesn't seem to be addressed by the site, then they're able to access some sort of help facility and talk to a real member of staff, chat with a real member of staff, ask the questions and get the answers. Sometimes the questions that are posed may be captured and put into a frequently asked questions section, an FAQ, so that by looking at the FAQs, past questions can be read over and the answers that were given read over as well, and answers found in that way. Responsiveness, well, I think here there are probably two meanings of responsiveness. One is responsive websites, which means that as I said to you earlier, the information can fit any size of screen. It can fit onto a smartphone. It will configure itself to fit on a smartphone and be logical and easy to navigate on a smartphone. It could be it'll fit on a tablet, or it'll fit on a small laptop. It could be that it'll fit on a large desktop computer. The site will configure itself to fit the appropriate screen. That's one interpretation of the word responsive. But there's another, a more straightforward interpretation of the word responsive. The site itself should be responsive. That when someone clicks a link, something happens. They don't click the link and have to sit there waiting for the site to figure out what to do next, or wait for the server. The server is slow, or the connection is slow. They want, when they click on a link, they want the site to respond and bring back what they expect. So if they click the next page link, when they click it, they want the next page to arrive. They don't want to click it and sit there and sit there and sit there. They want it to happen. Now, usability in terms of firmness. Well, this means that the site is solid. It doesn't have errors built into it. It doesn't have poor design. It doesn't have broken links, and it doesn't have poor navigation. It's a solid website. It's once it comes up, it does what you would expect it to do. It delivers the information. It's quite pleasant to look at. It's easy to find your way around the site. It's a firm site. It does the job, and it's convenient. It's convenient in the sense that it's easy to use. It's it's not uh, not cumbersome. It's not difficult to figure out what to do next. The user doesn't have to think a lot. The user can sit, look at the various options from the screen in terms of the links forwards and backwards, and it's easy. Just click the link and it happens. So it's convenient. And they should be happy with what they get. The customer should feel a sense of job well done. They feel happy at the end. They like the site. They like what they've experienced. It's well designed. It's got them in mind. It's done the job. They found it a pleasant experience. So they're happy with the site. And as I said many times earlier, they will bookmark it and come back to it again later, find out if there are updates or new products being introduced on the site, or if the business wants to put out some new information or whatever. They find that's a pleasant experience. They're happy to use the site. There's usability in terms of access as well. People may have problems in seeing the site, seeing perhaps small print on the site. Access should be facilitated. They should be able to click on a link and get larger size fonts perhaps. Or it could be that the access is restricted because of poor connection speeds, in which case perhaps an alternative site, a link to an alternative site with less demanding graphics and less demanding facilities, nonetheless quite pleasant to use and containing essentially the same information, but which will load much faster. That might be an option as well. Usability, well, the topic we're dealing with here is usability. So usability means the overall ability of someone approaching the site to find the information they want, find it efficiently, have a pleasant experience, and be able to walk away from the site feeling that it was good. It was a good experience, and they don't mind having it again. There should be an element of entertainment in sites. We're humans, and entertainment is not a bad thing. If the site is well designed, nice graphics, it's appealing, it is artistic, it's been thought out and nicely presented, so that the overall experience has been pleasant. That will encourage the use of the site, and it'll improve usability of the site. The hyperlinks should all work, as I said many times. The hyperlinks should work. The hyperlinks should be clear and easy to spot. They should be in logical positions, and they should be able to get forwards and backwards quite easily on the site, so that the user is able to navigate quite straightforward. And interactivity. Interactivity in terms of being able to make comments available to the site, to ask questions perhaps that are not currently dealt with on the site, perhaps being able to access a member of staff on the site and have some sort of chat facility with them to ask questions, to deal with issues and so on. So there's interactivity. The user doesn't feel that they're being abandoned. The company is trying hard to get their custom, and it's using the site to portray its professionalism, to make the customer aware of its products, and also give the customer the facility to ask any questions before they make the purchase. The content of the site should be straightforward. It should be well laid out. It should be, as I said earlier, good grammar, well spelt out, good design in terms of paragraphs and sentences, and uh, it should be very clear for the user to be able to follow the site and to understand the message of the site. It's absolutely the case that the language and presentation should not be offensive in any way. It goes without saying. But the content should be very straightforward. And there should be enjoyment, or if you like, entertainment, as we had earlier. The user should want to know what's on the next page. They want to click the link to see what's next, because the experience is positive. So they want to click the link and move to the next part. There should be privacy. They should be able to say, well, they're dealing with the site and they are not being spied upon as a consequence of using the site. The site may wish to install cookies, for example, on their system, and the users must have confidence that the cookies are not there to capture their keystrokes or capture their bank codes or personal PIN numbers or whatever. So their privacy has been protected, and they should trust the site to be open and honest about what they're collecting about the customers who access the site. And the users should have a sense of empowerment. They should have control over this. The users should be able to turn off the site if they don't like it, and no repercussions. They shouldn't leave a big footprint somewhere so that the company can follow them up later. And they don't want to have lots of spam emails and lots of contact with the company that they didn't request. So it's important that the users are empowered and be in the position to walk away if they so decide. The visual experience, as I said, should be quite positive. It should facilitate people with different eye conditions, people who perhaps can't see the site very clearly, or people who have got issues with different colors of the site or on the site. But it should also be appealing. There should be an element of design, and it should be artistic. It should be pleasant to use. There should be technical support. If there's a problem, the customer should be able to contact the site, report the issue, and get something done about it. There should be technical support for their experience of using the site. It's obviously the case there should be technical support if should they make a purchase of the site and find that the product they purchased is not working, then there should be technical support, and that should be accessible from the site itself. The website should be the contact point. The website should enable the customer to be able to contact the business and report issues. Navigation, as I've said many times before, is critically important. Credibility. Well, credibility means the site should be believed. The claims of the site should be honest, and the customers should be able to believe in what they're reading, in the quality of the product that's been offered, in the reputation of the business, in the support that the business offers to customers, and so on. So the site should be credible. What's said about on the site should be believed. And organization. Well, again, two parts to this one. First of all, the organization of the site, and secondly, the organization as in the business. Well, the organization of the site, well designed, as I said earlier, well laid out, easy to navigate, and so on. But the organization itself, which has developed the site, that should be reputable, and there should be testimonials on the site which go to support the reputation of the organization, the reputation of the business. So there should be testimonials, there should be a way of enabling past customers to leave feedback which is positive and negative. It should be open, it should be honest. So we have the user experience, and then we have download delays. Well, that can affect the user experience. If it's long, lengthy delays, that's not good. Navigability, as I said earlier, very important, which influences the user experience. The information content should be honest, open, clearly presented, logically organized and well set out. There should be interactivity in the site, enabling the user to be able to contact the business, make comments, have responses from the business, and have a sense of contact with the business. They're not just simply dealing with a website. And responsiveness, which we talked about in the context of scaling the whole site to the size of the screen. That's the, if you like, the technical interpretation of the word responsiveness. And the other one is that the site itself should be capable of loading fast and being responsive to the requirements of the user. Now, the problem of measurement, well, there's inconsistency and incompleteness when we come to usability issues. It's very difficult to measure the usability of a site. And possibly, as I said way back in this particular session, probably the best way of measuring the usability is by some sort of attitudinal scale, perhaps using the Likert scale, a scale of perhaps 1 to 5 or 1 to 7 or whatever it is, and asking the users to rate the usability of the site in various ways. The design of the site, how would you rate the design of the site on a scale of 1 to 7? And some people will say, well, 5, and some people will say 2, and some people will say 8. And some sort of picture may emerge out of using the Likert scale, but there is a lot of inconsistency and incompleteness in measuring the usability of a site. There's no concrete measurement of usability. It's very difficult. It is subjective. It's in the mind of the user, and like measuring anything which is subjective, it's fraught with problems. Possible research areas. Well, looking at the satisfaction associated with using a site, that's something which could be researched. Looking at how satisfied were customers with a particular site or with related sites, so that perhaps sites could be ranked, and look at the attributes of the various sites and see what is it that's leading to satisfaction. Look at the relationship between the design of a site, the usability of the site, and the intention to make a purchase. If a site is not well designed, perhaps people will be put off making a purchase. If it's well designed, looks professional, well laid out, easy to navigate, etc., etc., they may be more inclined to make a purchase. Will they go back to the site? Well, if they have a good experience, they may. They may bookmark it and go back later. If they haven't had a good experience, then no. Would they make an actual purchase? Do they have confidence in the business and in the processes that go to underpin the whole site, the payment method, the placing the order, having confidence in the business? Would they make an actual purchase? That's important. What's the effect of the site? The effect of the site on the customer. Is it positive or negative? Do they like the site? If they do, why do they? If they don't, why not? What's what's the effect of the site on the customers? And I suppose you could look at it from the other perspective. What's the effect of the site on the business? Does it benefit the business, or does it need redesign? Does the site engender some sort of loyalty to the product, to the business? If customers like the site, perhaps they have confidence in the site, they have made purchases through the site before and have had a positive experience, perhaps they'll build up a loyalty to the business in that way. Now, there are other possible areas of research. For example, looking at gender issues. Is there a difference between male and female responses to different sites? It could be that females are better able to make purchase decisions online and being able to deal with the complexity of making the purchases online, have more patience or whatever. That may be a very sexist view to take. Perhaps males are able to do it as well, but some males may be impatient or want it immediately, or don't reflect. Or it could be the other way around, of course. But there may be gender issues. Difficult to say. Looking at the product, some products may be suitable for delivery from purchases online. Some may not. It depends. But looking at the product, people may want to have hands-on experience of the product before they make a purchase, particularly if it's a big, expensive item. If people are thinking of buying a new car, the chances are they've had experience of the car. They've seen an example of the car. They've perhaps test drove a car before. Then they may go home and make a purchase online, buy the car. But the chances are they have some experience of the product. The industry in which the product is based. As I said, some products may be more personal. For example, buying a work of art is a more personal thing, and the purchaser will want to see the work of art before they make the purchase. It's unlikely they will buy it off the internet. Some items, cosmetics, for example, people will want to see what the effects of the cosmetics have and get the experience of the product rather than simply buy it online. So it depends really on the industry. It depends on the type of product, what's suitable, what's not suitable. Depends on the culture. Sometimes people don't want to use the internet because they like going to shops, they like going out shopping, they like the experience of shopping, they like the idea of seeing the product, touching the product and holding the product and talking to the assistant in the shop about the product and so on. They want that whole experience and they don't get this online. That may be a cultural issue. Some of these, from gender, product, industry, culture, a lot of them overlap. But I think it's fair to say that companies would still want to have a good, well-designed website to support their business anyway. Now, the effects of usability constructs to diverse dependent variables. Well, we could simply write down readability, learnability, simplicity, and scannability. We want these things from a website. We want to be able to read it clearly. We want to learn about the product and learn about the business. It's got to be simple, straightforward to use. We don't want to sit down trying to study the website, trying to figure out what to do next. We want it straightforward. And we should be able to scan it. We should be able to look over it, get the essential points in a couple of minutes and say, this site is for us, we want to read more. Or we could read and say, no, this site is not relevant to me, I'm not really that interested, and move on. But you still had a positive experience because at least the people who designed the site made it easy to move on. And there's still a positive feeling about the company and the website designers because they enabled that to happen. So these sort of ideas we can group under consistency and navigability. Then we have the telepresence. We have privacy, because we don't want to have lots of cookies sitting in our system emailing us and checking what we're doing, and or even worse still, planting a virus that's watching us and reporting back about what we're up to. We want reliability and accessibility, and we want security. And these things are related. And these are the credibility issues associated with the site, which again feed into this telepresence. So we're using the site, it's an electronic site, so it's a telepresence, but it has got consistency, navigability, and credibility. And we've also got this sense of community, that we're not the only ones using the site, there are other people using the site. And the other people using the site will have left comments, and there'll be a forum perhaps associated with the site where issues are discussed. There's a community situation. The people may not be living in the same country or living in the same area, but there's a community. People are linked together through the site, and they will discuss the site. There's interactivity. The customer is able to interact with the site. They're able to perhaps look at different scenarios, or look at the product in different colors, or rotate the product and see what it looks like from different angles. So there's flexibility in the approach of the site. And the telepresence generates the content. And the content, the scope, the timeliness, and the relevancy are important in terms of content. What's the scope of the content? How deep is the content? How much information does the site deliver? And does it deliver it in the right time period? Is it sequenced correctly? And is the information relevant? So we've got consistency, navigability, and credibility going into this telepresence, generating this telepresence, which the telepresence is also fostered by this sense of community and interactivity and flexibility of the site. And that generates the sort of content of the site, that generates what goes into the site, what goes to make up this telepresence site. And the content has to be measured in terms of the scope. Not too much detail, but sufficient detail to satisfy the customers. Timeliness, it's relevant. It's relevant to what's happening in the world today. It's relevant to fashion trends or developments in the world. So it is relevant. So what we've got are a whole list of points linked to the usability discussion. We have loyalty, the effect of the website will have on the customer, the satisfaction it generates, if any, the revisit intention, coming back to look at the site, the actual purchase, and looking at the purchase intention. So we have lots of different points associated with usability. And these come out of these discussions we've had here. So on the very bottom of the slide here, we've got price, time, scarcity, convenience, fun, usefulness. And that's probably a good way of getting a quick summary of what we've done in 93 or 94 slides. Looking at the price of the product, the timeliness of the product, the relevance of the product in today's world, scarcity issues, looking at The price and scarcity, of course, go together from our knowledge of economics. But scarcity issues, when can it be delivered? Is it in short supply at the moment? Information about the product so that the customer is informed if they make a purchase when they're likely to get it. The convenience, having it delivered rather than going out and having to drive a long way and park the car and look for the product and so on. The site should be fun, it should be enjoyable, and it should be useful. It should be helpful. So we've got many points related to usability. It's a rather long discussion. It's quite a sophisticated discussion in many respects. It's worth going back over this one many times and making your own notes and figuring out what is meant by each of the terms. This last slide is a good summary of what we've been talking about. But with that, let's leave it at that and just simply say thank you for watching.